Well, 3 October surprises may be dead ahead for us here in America as we near the 2022 midterm elections. In fact, I believe all 3 of these October surprises are going to have massive impacts on the midterm 2022 election, and it just might sink the Democrats' chances. Now, as a quick reminder, get to restrictiverepublic.com. I can't stress that enough. Right now, we have a bombshell special. You can get Restrictive Republic at $3.99 per month. Use the coupon code FJB. That's FJB when you check out. But right now, I've got to tell you, we have put inside information that we are not publishing on any other platforms. It's exclusive to Restrictive Republic, and it's information that you absolutely need to know about, especially in light of what is going on with our U.S. economy. I can't say that enough. And we also have commercial-free content there on Restricted Republic. All right, so let's dive into what on earth are these 3 October surprises that we could be looking at in the future. Well, for starters, I want to give a shout out to where shout out is due on republicanbrief.com, because this is where I got the inspiration from. And here it is. And it's headlined 3 October surprises loom, and it could sink the Democrats and America too. Now, his 3 reasons are going to be a little bit different from my 3 reasons. That's why I'm kind of going off of Republican Brief, but I love his reasoning behind it. And his 3 were inflation, crime, and Obamacare. My 3, however, are a little bit different. I agree with the first 2, inflation and crime. The third, however, I'm going to put abortion on there. And I've got a little bit of twist that you guys are going to want to see on that one. But for starters, let's dive into inflation. Well, one of the top concerns of people here in America is, of course, the U.S. economy, and more specifically, inflation. Take a look at this poll on RasmussenReports.com. Inflation and crime are still the top concerns for voters. That's why these 2 are on my list. It says, the issues most important to American voters have not changed all year, as inflation and violent crime remain atop the list. The latest Rasmussen Reports national telephone and online survey finds that 85% of likely U.S. voters are at least somewhat concerned about inflation, including 57% who are very concerned. That's almost unchanged since May. Now I'm going to hit the pause button, because one of the main areas which the Democrats are failing, in which they usually fail, is on the economy, because they're all about more power to the government and less power to the people, more control by the governments of everything in our life and less control to the individual person and the power of the people. This has always resulted in inflation spikes. Well, obviously, now we are seeing the worst levels of inflation that we have ever seen here in the U.S., at least by my standards, especially if you compare it to the way they used to calculate inflation in the past. We are by far exceeding levels we have ever had before in the United States of America. And it's under a Democrat-run administration. The Biden administration, the House, the Senate, pretty much controlled by all Democrats, with Kamala Harris having the deciding vote. That means it's basically a Democrat-run system right now, and they are absolutely failing for the American people. And here's just some of their latest fails. Take a look here. New York Post, inflation hits 8.3% in August, worse than expected. And by the way, Biden's out there taunting this accomplishment by saying, oh, it's only an inch, you only have to worry about an inch raise. I think the American people have woken up to that. On top of that, we also have this is wallstreetjournal.com. Electric bills soar across the country as winter looms. Yes, they are talking about here in the United States, and not just our bills, but also our gas prices, our food prices. All of that is going up as well. Then we have issues like this. I wanted to bring up, this is footwearnews.com, and here's the headline. And it's titled, Walmart, Target, and more retailers are canceling orders to manage inventory excess. Why is that important? Well, Walmart CFO John Rainey said this week that the company has canceled billions in orders to deal with inventory pileups that have amassed over the last few quarters. Target said it had reduced its inventory exposure in discretionary categories through Q2 by canceling more than 1.5 billion in orders in these categories and marking down products. Kohl's has also pulled back on the order receipts and increased promotions to get through an inventory glut. Why is that a problem? Because if these businesses have too much inventory, what that means is the average American is strapped and doesn't have the ability to buy what they used to buy. So they were basing it off of prior levels of, how much inventory went. So when you have an excess of inventory, this means a big problem for us here in America. And this is why I believe we are going to see worse inflation and, if you will, a midterm 2022 election surprise for the Democrats in October, an October surprise, because inflation is just going to slap them in the face because they're not doing anything to make it better. They're just covering it with Band-Aids. Not only that, but this also, the latest on the economy, stocks fall Monday in volatile trading ahead of the Fed decision this week. So inflation, I believe, is a big card against the Democrats that is absolutely in favor of the Republicans. And I believe this is looking, as far as inflation is concerned, the Republicans are looking pretty dang good. And a majority of the time, the public sees on a basic level, my pocket's hurting, my job is hurting, my business is hurting, whatever you have. And they see inflation going up, food going up, gas going up, everyday retail prices going up, people not being able to buy things, and automatically they go for, screw this guy, I'm with this guy, which could lead many to votes for the Republican Party. Not only that, but crime right now is really hurting the Democrats. So let's go back to that Rasmussen poll because they have good information on that. And here's what it says according to the poll. While concerns about abortion rights have increased since the Supreme Court overturned the 1973 Roe v. Wade decision, most voters are still more worried about crime, which puts crime ahead of abortion and puts abortion in my third point here. But 86% of voters at least are somewhat concerned about violent crime, 86%, including 61% who are very concerned. Okay, so with numbers like that, you have to say, okay, what's going on in a city to put, or all around America to put crime at an even higher level than it has sometimes been in our past? Well, for starters, we have all these cities that are exploding in crime. And might I say, they are Democrat-run cities that are exploding in crime because many of these Democrats are all about defunding the police. And they say something with their mouth. Some of them are saying, oh, no, now they're backtracking and they're saying, we don't want to defund the police. Meanwhile, they're firing and doing things to their police departments behind America's back, okay? But the word is getting out. The American people are discovering it, and crime continues to go up in these Democrat cities. Here's just a sample of that. FoxNews.com, Democrat-run tourist town in North Carolina sees violent crime spike as the police dwindle. In other words, they're getting rid of police, crime goes up. Here we have New York Post. Major crime continues to surge in NYC, up 36% this year, new police data shows. Fox News, New Orleans has just become the murder capital of America, overtaking another Democrat city, Louisiana. Then we have Fox News, violent crimes on the rise in 2022 following previous unprecedented spike in murders. Now, this is the most critical article here, and I think this one's important. And here it is. And this really gives a breakdown of why we are seeing the crime, right? A list of crime spikes in cities that defunded the police. And they've got over 20 major cities that they list in this report. And I'm going to try to briefly go through it. But this is what America is seeing. And this is what America is pissed off about, right? New York City. New York City cut $1 billion from its police funds. $1 billion. The city experienced a 130% increase in shootings, and killings in August were up 50%. That's in New York when they cut the budget. Chicago, Lightfoot, it's always been a problem there. But she claimed she was opposed to defunding the police, but she did it anyway. They cut 400 police officers. As a result, Chicago saw 87 shootings over 2020, over the 4th of July. The same year, carjackings were up 135%. LA, right, cut $150 million from the LAPD budget, and they recorded a record number of 300 homicides, which was up. Killings were reportedly up 25% since 2019. And shootings shootings were up more than 32%, and shootings in South LA, get this, rose by 742%. Thank you, Democrats, right? This is why America's mad. Milwaukee, here's another one. They cut 60 police positions as a result of budget cuts, right? They also cut 430,000, but it experienced a 95% increase in murders. Louisville here, you have, rather than directly defunding the police department, they voted to have to use portions of its funds to recruit more diverse force and health professionals instead of law enforcement officers. As a result, they saw a 78% increase. Seattle here reduced their police budget, saw 74% homicide increase. Minneapolis cut $8 million, saw a 72% increase in murders. New Orleans, despite seeing a 62% increase in 2020 homicides, they proposed a $16 million budget cut for 2021. And now there is an even higher 11% increase from 2020 and 79% increase from 2019. Atlanta goes on, and I'm just going to throw these up here. You guys can kind of see. I don't want to go through everyone, but there's Atlanta, there's Portland, there's Baltimore, Oklahoma, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Hartford, Salt Lake City, Austin, Dallas, Denver, San Francisco, San Diego. There you have it. Cities all over the country have seen this pop in crime. That's why I believe that this is a card for the Republicans and a October surprise for the Democrats, if you will. And so I think this problem could very well sink the Democrats in the midterm election. Not only that, now my third one here is, a little bit of a wild card. And I'm going to say this could be, and I'm going to be honest, this could sink the Democrats or this could sink the Republicans. The first two absolutely sink the Democrats. This one, I'm going to tell you, could go 50-50, and that is abortion. Let's go back to that Rasmussen poll so I can explain here what I'm talking about. And here it is. This is the poll again, and I'm going to reference this portion here. It says, while 67% of Democrats are very concerned about abortion rights, that sentiment is shared by only 38% of Republicans. And the most powerful part here that we have to look at, and 45% of voters not affiliated with either majority party. So what that says is, in this case, it looks like abortion could, what's going on with the abortion wise, this could benefit the Republicans just a little bit, because 45% of those not affiliated with any party, right, are saying only 45% of us concerned, which gives a little edge to Republicans based off that 5%. But it really all depends. It could still go and sink the Republicans in the reverse of that. And so that's why I'm kind of topsy-turvy on this. I think it could sink the Republicans, and I think it could sink the Democrats. But we have to dig in a little deeper to see really where the American people lie, because the Democrats have gone excessively extreme to the point where they're trying to pass legislation to legalize abortion up to birth. Up to birth. In my opinion, that's murder. You're gonna up to birth, the baby is fully developed, and you're okay with that? And here's the fact. Here's the plain fact. A majority of Americans are against that. And I'm going to show you polling information that absolutely shows that. And so Americans now have to ask themselves, because you've got extremes on both sides. There is a Republicans on the other side of that who are saying, we don't want to allow it any whatsoever at all, with no exceptions. So now the voters are looking at that extreme and the other extreme where, you can go all the way up to birth and have an abortion. Now voters are kind of pinned on two walls, if you will, because I think the majority, and I'm just answering for the majority of Americans, they don't want either. They don't want either extreme. They want a happy medium of some sort. That is just what the facts are showing. But let's go in to what the Democrats are planning and how a majority of America doesn't agree, right? And this is foxnews.com. Backlash builds after Democrats vote to legalize abortion up to birth. And here's what it says. Senate Democrats, and this is a legislation that they went through or tried to pass through a while back, but it's still at the heart. And I believe a lot of Republicans need to run on this fact, because this could very well help our chances on the midterm. But here it is. Senate Democrats are facing pushback after they voted last week in favor of a bill that will legalize abortion nationwide for all 9 months of pregnancy. Now, that's extreme. The Women's Health Protection Act, which received support from 49 Democrats in Senate and ultimately failed to succeed, would have given healthcare providers the right to provide abortion services with few limitations or requirements. Now, the other thing it did, and I'm not going to read through all of this, but basically it kind of went around the Religious Freedom Act and said, it doesn't matter what your religion is or who your doctor is. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to have to perform this abortion no matter if it's against your religion or not. And that passes a lot of lines with Americans. And here, let me just, and I'm totally against forcing someone to do something that they don't want to do. If a doctor doesn't want to perform it, don't freaking make them perform it. And here's the same thing. I'm going to put this in another light. If, and the average person should be okay with that too. Like, I'm going to use, I don't know, some plastic surgery. We use breast implants, right? Just because. And say I want to go get that done. And I go to a doctor and I say, hey, I want to do a plastic surgery. Give me breast implants. This is what I want. And the doctor says, you know what? I'm not real comfortable with that. That's not a surgery that I perform. So go see another doctor. I'm not going to sit there and tell that doctor, no, you're going to give me that breast implant. Here's what I'm going to say. Well, shoot, if you don't want to do that, why the hell would I want you operating on me? Because that operation probably isn't going to look very well. And, just saying. So I would leave and go to another doctor. Thus, it should be with everything. If you have a doctor that says, I'm not willing to give you an abortion, and a law that says you have to do it, what good is that for either party? I'm just leaving facts where they are. And this is one way I think that the Republicans, if they heed our advice, if they bring up this legislation that the Democrats tried to pass, the Women's Health Protection Act, which would be a legalized abortion nationwide for all 9 months of pregnancy. If the Republicans started running campaign ads on how the Democrats tried to do that, this could go in their favor. That's why I'm saying this is a major October surprise. But so far, they're not doing it. And the question is, why not? Because a majority of Americans don't want to see a fully developed baby murdered right before birth. That's just insane. But a majority of the Americans also do not want to see abortion completely not legal. I'll just be honest. Even in the Christian realm, there's many Christians who say, a lot of people want to have exceptions to abortion. It is. It's just the fact of where America is at. But here's what I'm talking about. And that's why I say the Democrats right now are having a little bit of a foothold on the Republicans, because they are bringing that up in all of their advertisements online. Oh, Republicans want to ban abortion altogether. That's what they're saying, and that's what they're running on, which isn't true necessarily. There's a majority of Republicans who don't want to do that. However, they are running with it, but I don't see our party doing the same. So that's why I say it could sink the Republicans a little bit. But here we go. CBS News poll analysis. Americans have a range of views on timing and circumstances of legal abortions. And here's what they state. As we have seen in recent CBS News polling, 2 in 3 Americans want abortion in their state to be legal in at least most cases. But polling also reveals a spectrum of views on when and under what conditions abortion should be permitted. Of those who think abortion should be legal in all or most cases, most would nevertheless set restrictions on when during a pregnancy an abortion should take place. And among those who think abortion should be against the law in most cases, most of them still want restrictions. That's the point here. And I think that's why this wild card needs to be used by the Republicans. But here's just kind of a quick breakdown of a chart that I want to show you. And this is on that same poll there. And it's conditions where abortion should be permitted. A majority of Americans, and we're going to go all 3 of these, think if women's health is in danger, then they should be allowed an abortion. I agree. 81%, if rape or incest is involved, then abortion should be allowed. I agree. 77%, if there's a strong chance the fetus won't survive, there's also a majority that people accept that as well. And fetus, 70%, fetus likely to have a serious disability. A majority of Americans agree with that, right? And women, and then you have women decides to have one on her own, 55%. It goes a little bit down, but still you've got a majority there, right? And then we have, okay, let's ask a deeper question. If a woman decides, what are the reasons or when, if a woman decides, at what trimester or level or week period should it be legal? And here it is. At what point in pregnancy should abortion be legal in your state? In 12% of the cases, illegal in all cases. 12%, that's very low. No exemptions whatsoever. Within the first month, 23%. That's a much higher majority. So a lot of people sit there and also here, your next level. Within the first trimester, 33%. So a majority of Americans, I'm just stating the facts here, a majority of Americans believe, that's 33% believe that as long as it's done within the first trimester, it's fine. After that, as you're going to see, most Americans do not agree with going after that. Within the second trimester, that goes down dramatically to 15%, and then at any point, 17%. These are very, very, very low numbers. That does not favor the Democrats' bill, which is why I think Republicans need to run on the fact the Democrats tried to legalize abortion up to pregnancy, up to 9 months pregnant baby, 9 months pregnant woman. I'm going to get this right. Full term. Pregnancy up to full term. That would literally break the hearts of billions and billions of Americans. So those are my 3 October surprises. One absolutely in favor of the Republicans, inflation. Another absolutely in favor of the Republicans, crime. And the third could go either way. It depends on what stance the Republicans start taking. Anyhow, I love all of you. I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. With that, please don't forget to check out my partner at getthetea.com/Lisa. That's getthetea.com/Lisa. Right now, they have an amazing special, which you guys are going to absolutely love. It's Alley Beets. You can see here on the screen. Now, this thing is beetroot extract. It also has garlic in it. It has vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc as well. And what it actually does is it helps your immune system and your cardiovascular system. It aids in maintaining healthy blood pressure, cholesterol levels, that kind of stuff. And they can increase levels of a chemical called nitric oxide in the body. And that really affects your blood vessels and reduces your blood pressure. But right now, the great news is that you can get this for $8 off. $8 off. Gosh, I love the way that smells, by the way. It's amazing. But $8 off. Use the coupon code Lisa and the number 32, all in one, Lisa 32. And that can get it at a massive discount for you guys. But that's only being offered to you guys, my listeners here on this channel. But getthetea.com /Lisa and check that out. They also have other options there online, their tea, their digestive stuff. But right now, this is on an amazing special. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I love all of you. I'm Lisa Haven signing out.